Yeah, hello everybody. This video now is about some special extra service for those who look my videos. You have already noticed that very often I have examples which come from German tax law, and very often when it comes to case solutions or other concrete things, then I also make reference to German tax acts. Now, naturally, the official texts are in German, and that's a bit inconvenient for people who view these introductory lessons in English. So there is also a translation, and I made now an update of the translations and bring make it available to you outside there. So if you are interested in following up what the legal sources say, then you have here the legal translations available. Um, Naturally, it makes no sense to show all these slides now in a video. So I just give you some links below in the description, which you find below the YouTube video. There are two links where you can press the link and then either you get only these slides here, you get the slides and below the slides the German original text of the legal passage. Um, this extended version has advantages under two circumstances. First, you know, tax acts are changed from time to time. So if later, after a while, you want to find out if my translation can still be current, up to date, then go to the internet, look through the internet for the current version of the German legal text in German language, and then compare it with what is written below the slide. If that German text, even if you don't understand it, deviates from the modern actual current version, then you know also my translation can no longer be up to date. Then you probably best ask some person who knows about German and ask him or her if they can translate the new version into German, or if they can explain you the difference, probably. Um, for just working on cases and case solutions, it's probably more convenient to work with the version which only contains the translations. Well, we have nevertheless always to keep an important warning in mind. These translations are translations and they are rough translations, so they cannot be perfect. The only thing I can do is give you a rough impression of what the main contents or the main statement of a certain sentence in the German legal text is. I cannot guarantee that every particular aspect of the German wording can be translated correctly. It can even be that in the translation into English, the one or other nuance comes on top, which is not in the original text. So there will always be the possibility of deviations. That's built in every translated text. And so naturally, you use these translations as a basis for learning how to deal with legal texts. You use, please, these translations to get a rough impression, um, to see, uh, to get confirmed what I told you in the videos, in my lessons about the contents of the German law. But please, you never use the wording of my translations as a definitive and authoritative source to form a definitive opinion on the legal situation in Germany. So especially when you are somewhere from outside the country and intend to form an opinion about what is the case in German law, do not rely only on these translations. They just give you a first orientation. And so whenever you have a really actual case in mind, which you are confronted with, go to somebody who is a tax advisor specialized in German law, either to get confirmed your impression or to get yourself, which is far more recommendable, properly informed about all the pitfalls and peculiar aspects which you will nearly certainly have overlooked when you just have a glance on this text. So this is a text for learning, not a text for deciding. Good. Now let's have a short look on how you can work with that. Naturally, these are approximately some 1350 slides, so we will have to use some technical tricks to find the way through all these slides. Here, for example, you have the general contents. So if you press a link here, I hope it works, then you end at the specific law. Here, in that case, the Foreign Relations Tax Act, the Außensteuergesetz. And the next slide is usually then a small overview about which paragraphs exist there. You press again on the link and you get an overview about what the paragraph contains. Well, and okay, here we have 7.1 ASTG. Now, if a paragraph has several sections or subsections, then you see the next ones following here and here and so on. In the extended version, you would also have the German text below that slide. You see, sometimes when a paragraph is rather lengthy, then I had to split up the text on several slides. That's just for sake of convenience. For example, if you are a lecturer and work with these translations in a lecture hall, then it makes no sense to have everything in one text if you can't present it via a projector. So yeah, naturally you can also go to the Income Tax Act. Here you see the first slide or the headline slide of the ESTG, the Income Tax Act, and here you have again the table of contents here. So I think you get the system, how you can work with these things. And then you see, for example, here the basic rule of income tax for unlimited tax liability. You know that probably from the lectures. Natural persons who have a residence in the inland or the habitual abode in the inland are subject to unlimited tax liability. Here you see then, well, how you can check the conditions. Must be a natural person, must have residence in the inland or habitual abode. Are both conditions fulfilled, then we have unlimited tax liability, so taxation of the worldwide income. I do not have a comprehensive translation of everything which is in a legal text because that makes no sense for lectures. When you give people an introductory or even a deeper introductory knowledge of how the law functions, then it makes no sense to go into very strange or the last details. And so I always selected the paragraphs which we can use during lectures, and so there will sometimes be empty slides or there will be a gap between two paragraphs or so. That does not mean that the file is broken or so. That only goes back to the selection. I selected the most important ones where we work with and not the rest. Well, that also means that in the course of time, probably the collection will be extended, more and more comes on top. But up to now, this is what we can work with. So you will see below that in the description below the video, there will be two links which are open to the public. And if you press on them, I hope that everything works fine, that you can download or always work with the two PDF files which you find there. My recommendation would be, if you have to think about a reference to the law, and if you have, let's say, a lecture video on screen, and if you have a second screen, it would be a good idea to watch the TextX slides on the second screen and then compare what I say with what the legal text says. Well, that was everything I had to say this time. I thank you very much for watching this. Hope that you have some fun with TextX translations, and hope to see you soon again on this channel. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.